can I deduct my lunch when I'm with the client? How about when I'm traveling? What about a meal with my business partner? Can I write off all my meals? Because I have to be able to live to do work in my business. Let's clear all of this up. And also be aware that when you're looking online or with ChatGPT, there's a lot of bad information because the rules were one way, then they changed a little bit for COVID, and then they went back. And so it's really easy to find information from a time period where these rules were very different. First of all, just like all other business deductions, you have to follow the base rule. It has to be ordinary and necessary in your trade or business. It should be directly related to a business activity. Now, thankfully, in this case, necessary doesn't mean necessary. Necessary really means, does it help you make money? Does it help you avoid losing money? Does it help you do your marketing or any of that sort of thing? Anything like that is considered necessary. Now, the ordinary part of this does matter. They are going to look at both overall what you're spending on meals, but they may look at individual meals compared to your profit. And if those prices are excessive, they may not allow them. So try to avoid the $500 night out as a business meal in a business that's making even $200,000 a year, unless you have a really good reason for it. If you have a good reason, that's great. Everything is relative. Personal meals like your daily lunch, not deductible. In fact, unless you are traveling, you can pretty much never deduct any meals that you eat by yourself. Business meals must include active business discussions during the meal or must involve business travel. You can't just go out to dinner with your business partner and not talk about business and write it off. But the whole discussion does not have to be about business. 10 minutes in a 60-minute meal is totally acceptable. Now, the vast majority of business meals are not fully deductible. We call them 50% deductible instead of 100% deductible. The vast majority of meals you deal with, in many of my clients' cases, in fact, all of the meals they deal with, are 50% deductible. So any client lunches or dinners, any meals with your business partners, any meals while traveling for work are going to be 50% deductible. Now, you're going to find a lot of places that say it's 100% deductible. It was for 2 years because of COVID, and they were trying to encourage people to go out to eat. Currently, and who knows, because there are changes coming with the new tax bill, but currently, these are all 50% deductible. When are meals 100% deductible? Well, there's 3 major times. The first is office parties and company picnics for employees. So if you do a Christmas party or a summer picnic party and you invite all of your employees, that's going to be deductible. Don't do this if your family business is just inviting your family and you're having a Christmas party for your family. Certain people do not count as employees for this purpose, and a majority of people who come to the party need to be employees or their family or spouses. Now, also another 100% deductible case is meals provided to the general public. So if you're doing some sort of an open house or a promotional event and you're providing food, that's all 100% deductible. Finally, there are limited scenarios, and this is a hard burden to meet, where meals for employees can be 100% deductible if they are provided for the benefit of the employer. The standard case for this is you have an employee and you suddenly realize something's not going to get done during the business day, and you say, hey, stay late and I will buy you your meal. I'll order takeout, whatever. Then it's 100% deductible. But no, you can't do this every day. This technically applies to owners, but it's often disallowed for owners if you don't have a really good reason for it. So this is not something you should be doing super regularly. Now, there is one last time it's 100% deductible for the business, and that's when you actually include it as income on the employee's W-2. And this does have to be an employee. It doesn't apply for a 1099 contractor. I have never had a client where this has come up because employees get pissed if you pay for meals for them and then they pay taxes on it. Um, you know, also just in general, if you're the employee, this does nothing to benefit you. And there are rules for you if you expense meals to employees as part of their W-2 income, you have to do that for all of the employees. So you can't take advantage of some of these deductions for yourself. I don't like that, but just to be complete, wanted to go over it. Now, traveling is a place where you can really take advantage of this sometimes. And that's because you could use your actual receipts or you could use the per diem rates for wherever you're traveling. And in many places across the country, that's $60, $70, $80 per day. And then you just write off that per diem amount. Now, the first day and the last day, you do less. There's some other rules you need to jump through for this. But it's really great for most of us if we're being frugal, if we're not spending tons of money going out to eat, if we're not getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, your per diem rate is likely to be higher, in some cases considerably higher, than your actual receipts. Per diem's also great if you're doing a trip that's a business trip, but maybe you're taking your kids with you and they're not part of the business. And if you're cooking, it gets really hard to calculate what the actual receipts are. But if you're doing per diem, you just do per diem. So per diem is really, really great because it often will let you save more money and you can get away with a little bit less record keeping. Now, you do need to decide for any particular trip whether you're doing per diem or actual expenses, but you can change trip to trip. And in fact, every employee can make their own determination. But if you as a company allow anybody to use per diem, you have to let everybody use per diem. If you allow anybody to use actual receipts, you have to allow everybody to use actual receipts. Now, you can have rules for actual receipts of no more than X dollars. So you're not going to be on the hook if your employee goes out and spends a $500 on a meal. But this is an important thing that everybody gets to pick their own way of how they submit it to their employer. Now, another great way to use this is meals with a business partner. This is particularly useful if your business partner is maybe your spouse. Well, just like most meals, these meals are deductible at 50% as long as there's a business purpose for it, like discussing, I don't know, your quarterly numbers, the marketing plan you're getting ready to do, how the contractor is working out. Should you hire somebody else? Should you get rid of an employee? Again, just like with every other meal, it does not have to be 100% business. A good rule of thumb is 15% of the time is plenty. Now, meals need to be documented and really documented better than many other expenses because the IRS wants to make sure you're just not writing off a bunch of meals. The IRS requires you to document the date, the amount of money, if you're not doing per diem, who is present, and the business purpose. That business purpose should not be discussing the business. That business purpose should be 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6 sentences long, maybe longer if it's a particularly expensive meal. Now, technically, the IRS does not require receipts for meals under $75. Keep the receipt anyway. It won't hurt to have it. In fact, keep the receipt even if you're planning on using per diem. First of all, you can decide after the trip if it's a trip. So, keep all the receipts in case they happen to be higher. But why would you destroy any documentation showing that this was a business purpose, keeping track of everything? So keep the receipts. I use QuickBooks Online. I use the app. The app's great. I take a photo of the receipt. It saves it. There's a place for making notes. All the notes I need to make get made there. And that way it's saved forever. So to recap, first of all, no, you can't just write off all your meals. Secondly, most of your meals are 50% deductible, which, it sucks it's not 100%, but it's better than it's zero. If you can find a 100% meal deduction that saves you money, great. Take advantage of it. Per diem is really great. I love per diem. When you're traveling, this is a fantastic way to save money on your taxes. If you are not documenting meals, if you are not taking meals that you are otherwise able to write off, you are wasting money.